What is going on, folks? What is up? Welcome back again to another episode of Snug Wrestling with me. I am Edgar. I am your host, and today I have Jobber Stephen with
Hey,
us
how's it going,
today.
everybody?
What's up, Stephen? How you doing, man? How you enjoying this 3-day weekend so far?
I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Really, it's a 4 day weekend for me. So,
Oh man,
motorcycle company, graces, I guess.
good. There you go. And this is Jobber Steve. This is a name that he actually goes by on his socials. I'm not just calling him Jobber Steve just to be a dick. Okay, that's really his name. And Jobber Steve, I have a question for you, man. To start
Mhm.
start things off. What if you're wrong? Then what? What if you're wrong? I saw one of your TikTok videos where you were talking about that, and that was one of the funniest TikTok videos that you posted. Tell us about that. What if you're wrong, then what? What does that mean?
Well, as far as in reference to that particular video, it was talking about the main event of WrestleMania, and it's one of those things where I think a lot of people these days, especially what I've seen on TikTok, there's people like taking it like way too seriously, or like they're getting like they'd be really affected if their prediction or what they want to happen at like especially WrestleMania this year is wrong. And for me, it's just like, I'm a dad. I've got two kids. If WrestleMania night two, I think Cody's going to win. But if
Mhm.
he loses and Roman retains, when I wake up in the morning, my kids are still going to be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm hungry. What's for breakfast?" And so that's kind of what I'm getting at is like, life goes on. I make my kids breakfast, and we still talk about how cool WrestleMania was because it's the showcase of the Immortals at the end of the day.
Oh, no, right. And it's like the possibilities for WrestleMania are endless. Literally anything can happen. Like
Mhm.
I had one of my other guests recently, he gave me his prediction, and his prediction was really interesting. But again, anything can happen, and we're never right about these things. We can sit here and talk about and dissect everything, but we don't know what's going to happen. But that's what's so crazy to me is like, some fans, like you said, they take this way too seriously. So you think that Cody's definitely going to win WrestleMania then, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in that. I mean, it seems like they're making him like the biggest underdog they can make him, so that you have that big babyface win and big babyface pop. The heel's been winning for 4 years, guys. Come on.
Yes, he has, man. Unfairly though, to be fair.
Hmm.
That never changes, but I also think it's about that time. It's about that time to get that belt off. He's been champion for a really long time, and everything is pointing to that. Even night one, night one, I do believe that Cody Rhodes, he's gonna have to lose night one to kind of
Yep.
get that going. The bloodline rules and kind of put that wrench out there, like, oh, he's screwed. He's screwed. So how are you feeling about WrestleMania in general? You excited for it? You looking forward?
I'm extremely excited for it. I mean, it's a stacked card from top to bottom, and I really feel like in like a dark horse candidate for like match of the night and possibly match of the year is probably going to end up being LA Knight versus AJ Styles. To be honest with you, that's what I'm most excited about.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I like what they did last night on SmackDown. Were you able to catch SmackDown?
I didn't catch AJ's segment, like, but I watched. I was watching like the beginning of SmackDown about halfway through the second hour, like right before AJ went on. My kids needed my attention, so.
Yeah. So what they ended up doing, it was, how they do the disguise where sometimes one of the wrestlers ends up being like the cameraman, or they come out with like a hoodie so you don't know who they are.
Hmm.
So they did that deal all over again. But I feel like they did it in a way where it was still unexpected and it was new. Because I know it's like one of those things that we've seen it millions of times, right?
Yeah.
So, and AJ Styles kind of pointed that out. Where are you, LA Knight? Are you the cameraman? He goes up to the cameraman, checks him. Nope, he's not there. Some guy runs in the ring with the hood. Security guards rush them. It's not LA Knight. And LA Knight
Ooh.
ended up being one of the security guards wearing like he was wearing a wig and glasses and stuff. But just the way they did it was just like, oh man, I mean, you kind of expected, but you weren't sure how they were going to do it. So that made me really interested for that match as well. Who do you think is going to win that match?
I think it's going to be LA Knight's big win. He's going to get like his WrestleMania moment, and it probably is going to end up
Mhm.
being like one of the better matches of LA Knight's career.
Okay.
That's what I think. I mean, AJ Styles is really good at making everyone else look like $1,000,000 whenever he wrestles them. So
Yeah, man. I'm really glad LA Knight has his WrestleMania match, and I'm hoping for him to get his WrestleMania opportunity as well. He's
mhm.
really deserving. I actually expected to see LA Knight versus Logan Paul. That's what
Yeah,
I was
see, I
kind
was
of hoping
expecting that
for.
too.
And
Um,
speaking of, yeah, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say it's kind of interesting. I was watching like this. Matt Morgan was talking about it on his podcast, like Raj Giri or whatever, and he was saying like, yeah, a lot of people expect LA Knight to be going for like a mid card title, but LA Knight's kind of too over for for that right now. Like he's kind of moved beyond the mid card scene, and he's like kind of like in the main event scene. Just the main event scene's so cluttered. It's like, where do you put him right now, type of deal.
Yeah, because usually when someone's getting really over and they're like, okay, we're gonna make this guy our guy, they usually go through that mid card title belt
Hmm.
holder, right? And we've seen it with Gunther. We've seen it time and time again over the years and years. So I think that's why even I was expecting to see LA Knight get one of those mid card titles. Um, but man, there's so many things that are going down in the WWE that's just different. So hopefully, LA Knight, he can skip all that mid card belt and just go straight to
Yeah,
the main event.
yeah. Put the rocket to him, man. It's time.
And so speaking of WrestleMania, we're gonna stay on this topic here a little bit. Last night on SmackDown, a tag team match was announced for WrestleMania. It's We're gonna have Rey Mysterio. We're gonna have Dragon Lee. I'm sorry, I went
Mhm.
blank there for a little bit. Versus Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar. That match was also announced last week. What were your first initial thoughts when you heard about this tag team match?
When I was watching the segment, they made it look like it was going to be like a 20-person tag match. They had everybody out, either ringside or in the ring together. So I was like, oh man, if they're fixing to make it like, like this huge tag team match, it's going to be like, it has potential to be either really good or really bad. But then whenever they kind of pared it down and it was like, oh, it's just, a tag match, I was kind of excited. Last week, it seemed like they were just going to set up Ray and Dom again. And I always kind of figured that would be Ray Mysterio's, retirement match. So I'm glad that they kind of expanded it, made it a tag match, and it's like, okay, well, we know Ray's not at least not retiring this year.
Yeah, there hasn't really been any rumors about that, has there? About Rey Mysterio retiring or anything like that? I don't think
No,
so.
I just figured it like, with Ray barely coming back from injury right now, it might have been something he decided he was like, you know what, I'm going to fast forward that, after the injury or something like that. But, like I said, I figured Dom would be his
Mhm.
retirement match, and I'm glad that we're getting at least another year.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be Dom. I mean, who else would it be?
Mhm.
What better way to go out than wrestling your own son? But yeah, hopefully we still get to see Rey Mysterio. He looks like he can still go for a few more years. That man's a machine.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
but yeah, I was also excited when I saw this last night on Friday Night SmackDown, mostly because this feud with the LWO and oh man, do you remember the name of Escobar's faction? I always forget it.
El Legado del Fantasma or something
There
like that.
you go. Yes, yes. That's been going on forever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's just like an ongoing thing week after week. So when I saw all of them in the ring, I'm like, okay, we're finally gonna get the big blow off match, and hopefully we can be done with this.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully they can move forward. I think Ray getting hurt kind of threw a wrench in the cogs for that whole thing. But
Yeah, see, none of that really made sense. I know Rey Mysterio went out, he got written off to get the surgery, but also Carlito.
yep.
Carlito, he's been like MIA. He'll show up and then he'll just disappear. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, he was fixing to have like a match, and then they wrote him off TV for like a week right before the pay per view, and it's like, come on, man, what's going on here?
Yeah, man. So that's another reason too why I was like, it's kind of hard to get into a feud going in like that because it's like on and off, on and off. It's like there's no consistency there. So
Hmm.
the reason I bring this up is because I got an article here, and it was really interesting. I wanted to get your thoughts on this about this
Mhm.
tag team match at WrestleMania. The article is called Dominic Mysterio's path to redemption begins at WrestleMania. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically they're saying that there's been some tension over the months for a while within the Judgment Day.
Mhm.
And there might be some tease that, they're breaking up. There's even some tease with Damian Priest being the Money in the Bank winner. He's going to leave the Judgment Day. But now they're saying that one of the predictions for this tag team match is Dominic Mysterio possibly turning babyface.
Mm.
Santos Escobar turning on Dominic Mysterio, and they're going to lose this tag team match. They being Dominic and Santos Escobar. That's going to cause the Judgment Day to be mad at Dom. Dom gets kicked out of the Judgment Day, and Dom is just left without a family, without his dad, without the Judgment Day, and they're going to slowly start to turn Dom babyface. How would you feel about that?
It'd be interesting. For me, just because I like the Judgment Day and it gets a lot of people TV time that wouldn't be getting it otherwise. I'd like for that to be kind of like a slow burn type of deal. But yeah, no, I see what they're saying about like Dom's been there's been tension building with the Judgment Day, and that's kind of started when Dom won the North American title and then lost it, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like slowly been like if you don't got gold, why are you even here? And then they brought in JD McDonough,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of like died down for a while. But I don't think JD McDonough's really won a notable match ever since he joined the Judgment Day, to be
Oh
honest.
no, he's the friendly neighborhood jobber, no pun intended, jobber
No, no,
Steve. But JD Madonna is a way bigger jobber than you.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
so
me and
again,
him are in a competition to see who can put each other over the fastest.
yeah, you will probably win that competition for sure. That's every time I see JD Madonna on the screen, I just automatically know. Oh, the other guy's going over.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is good. It's good to have those people. Even Dom too. Dominic Mysterio, he's been doing a whole bunch of jobs lately. But Dominic Mysterio, he has that heat, man.
Yeah,
And
it's like
that's
next level heel heat. It's insane.
it's insane. So that's the only thing that kind of worries me with this prediction here from this article was from SB Nation.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I don't know if it's time to turn Dominic Mysterio babyface yet. Because even on Friday Night SmackDown, Santos Escobar, we saw last week, beat Rey Mysterio with the help of Dom. And
Right.
then this week on SmackDown, Santos Escobar showed up and he had a lot more heat. He was getting a lot more boos, and it was all because he aligned himself with Dom Mysterio. And that, he's getting that Dom Mysterio rub.
Yeah, he is.
Um, and that's a lot of power from Dom that he can have that effect on other wrestlers. So I don't know if it's about that time to turn Dom babyface, but we'll see what happens. Who do you got to win this tag team match at WrestleMania?
I think Ray's gonna end up winning that match, even if they don't do what that article has said. I think it's gonna be like Ray's freshly back. Isn't this like aside from the Santos? I mean, it's his first pay per view match back. So for a lot of people that don't watch regular TV, it's gonna be their first time seeing Rey Mysterio ever since he got hurt. Um, or not hurt, but like ever since he got the surgery. And so I think that's they're going to give him another feel good WrestleMania moment, and then eventually later on down the road you do the Dom match and Ray can ride off into the sunset, putting his son over. So, but I think it's going to be Ray, and then who else was it? Who was Dragon Lee? I
Dragon
think
Lee, surprisingly enough, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think it's going to be the two masked the two masked guys winning it. Unless they do
I can see that.
some big
I can
thing where
see
they're
that.
like, hey, let's get Ray or let's get Dominic even more heat.
Right, right. I was actually surprised that it was Dragon Lee. Oh, Dragon Lee is a new member of the LWO. You said, did you catch this segment? I'm sorry, I don't know if
Oh
you
no,
were
I
able to
caught the
see this
segment,
one.
and
Yeah.
funny enough, I thought that Dragon Lee was already part of LWO, so I was just like, oh hey, he's just now joining.
Okay. I guess it's official now then, huh? But we kind
Mhm.
of already knew that. Yeah. I thought it was gonna be Carlito. That was
Oh yeah, no,
gonna
that
that
would have
was
been interesting.
yeah. So, Jobber Steve, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, and if you don't want to talk about this, you don't have to. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you about that I was curious, and I feel like it might be okay to bring this up because you do talk about this openly on your TikTok, and
Mhm.
your story that you talk about on your TikTok a lot is really motivational, really personal. You talk on your TikTok about your issues that you've had in the past with alcohol and your recovery
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So if it's okay, I'd like to ask you, and again, if you don't feel comfortable, I totally understand. How's that going? And how are you able to manage that?
So let me count the days real quick because Wednesday made 38 days. So I guess this would be day 41 because Thursday would have been 39, Friday would have been 40. Today's 41. So I'm 41 days sober now. This is like my millionth time trying to quit alcohol, but this go around it was kind of weird. I got through like the worst part of like withdrawals and all that, and then I was like, you know what? My body didn't even want to drink anymore. So this has been the easiest time I've ever had quitting. As far as how I feel great and stuff like that. It was just stupid decisions I made in my early 20s, and like I was like, I'm not going to end up being addicted, and then before I knew it I was like just drinking to feel normal. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
I know what you mean, man. And you're still a really young guy, so the fact that you caught it this early on, because I've seen that happen plenty of times with people much older, and at that point, it's like they're it's too late, you know.
Mhm.
So I really admired that, and I just want to say congratulations, and I hope that you get what you accomplish, what you try, what the goal is. I hope you get it.
Oh yeah, I know. That's I made a decision, about a week after I got sober. I was like, because I'm 32 now, so I was like, by the time I'm 35, I want to wrestle at least one wrestling match before, before it's all
Oh,
said and
no
done.
way.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're in it.
yeah, yeah. I'm still learning how to take bumps properly, but hey, here we are.
Well, yeah, hey man, you can every time I make jokes about it, people always bring up DDP, Diamond Dallas Page did it when he was like 35, so
Yeah, he was
anything
like
is
35 when
possible.
he started learning, 36 when he had his first match.
So are you currently training for wrestling right now?
Yeah, I mean, I go like once a week. That's just whenever they, have people that are like training and not really working matches yet. I just started, and it's at Gulf Coast Wrestling Academy down here in good old Corpus Christi, Texas.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Mhm.
And then how long have you been doing that?
I mean, this is like my third week doing it.
Oh, so pretty recent then. You're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
you're just started.
yeah. No,
Eh,
I'm literally just started. Like I said, I'm still learning how to properly take bumps across my whole back. So
How's your back feeling right now after the third week? I know a lot of people after like the first day, they're like, you know what, this is not for me.
oh, dude, whenever my first day, I was like sitting there, like felt like I couldn't move in my chair whenever I got home, and like like bruises on my back from like running the ropes, and like you hit the ropes a little bit too hard. It gets easier. Your body gets conditioned to it. That and you know
Yeah.
what's coming, so you don't knock the air out of yourself.
Damn, I can't even imagine that. Like, but that makes a lot of sense. You can probably get hurt just running the ropes, man.
Mhm.
Just get bruised up. But it's like everything. I think once your body starts getting used to it and stuff, then you can take the hits a little bit more. And but I mean, it's fun. Are you having fun? Are you still enjoying it? Or
Oh yeah, no, I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast. And if anything, if I end up, realizing it's not something I'm like medically able to do or something like that, at least I get a good cardio workout. So
yeah, yeah, there you go, man. Yeah, I'll just stick to my yoga, my safe workouts, I'll
yeah,
let
yeah.
I'll let you handle the hard hitting stuff. Well, right on, man. Well, I hope you make it, y- you get to wrestle at least one time, and if you do, you know, make sure you post it or something so we can watch it.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
All right, so we're gonna switch gears now that we talked a little bit about WrestleMania, which is coming up pretty soon. Um, what's your thoughts about AEW? Do you follow AEW as well?
I don't follow AEW religiously, but ever since Revolution and kind of like how good Sting's retirement match was, aside from one spot, but I mean, everyone's been talking about that. So I like to
So
talk
you,
about Sting's retirement more than the Darby Allin spot. Just because
yeah,
it's
so
been
you
talked
enjoyed
about the
that
draft.
match.
Yeah, I
So
really
you
enjoyed that
enjoyed it.
match. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, especially
Yeah,
that spot with
because
Sting's kids doing the stinger splashes.
hmm yeah, when I first saw that, I was like, who the fuck are these guys? And thanks to good old Excalibur, I was able to put two and two together. So I take it that you're not a big Darby fan then.
Oh no, I mean I like Darby for the most part. It was just, and that spot, crazy as it was, it's not. I mean, you've seen Darby do crazy stuff like that before. To me, it was just not the
Yeah,
place to do it. You know,
yeah.
it's like, we
He
should
just
be
can't.
talking about Sting's career and stuff like that, and it's like everyone I saw was talking about Darby taking a 30-foot bump onto a pane of glass.
Yeah, he can't help himself. I think he just can't help
Mhm.
himself.
But I have been watching
So
Dynamite ever since then.
oh, okay. So
Mhm.
since Revolution, it's been like about a month then,
Yeah,
something
about a
like
month.
that.
hmm
And what are your thoughts so far about about Dynamite? Your honest opinions.
Honest opinions, it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss, but I mean, a lot of it's really good. Kazuchika Okada was a good get. Will Ospreay is a great talent. I'd like to see him wrestling more instead of just coming out and talking to Tony Schiavone for 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
Okada. Yeah,
Kazuchika Okada, good get. Happy for them getting Mercedes Monet.
yeah,
But last Wednesday, having her just come out and do like a commentary thing, and like that's like a big announcement. Like,
yeah. She hasn't wrestled yet. I don't think
no, she
Monet.
hasn't.
Hmm.
No, she hasn't. And so I get that they kind of want to build that up and like that, but that way, whenever whenever her and Willow finally do have that match, everyone's watching it.
Hmm.
But it's like, come on, get her in some kind of action now. Um,
Right.
and then other than that, I mean, the matches have been good. The only match I could really think of that's like, that I've seen so far from, going back to watching AEW, that it's been a real clunker for me was Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. Um, I feel like that could had a potential to be a lot better, but Wardlow just looked like a little bit like stiff. Not
No, you're
stiff as
right.
in like
Yeah.
punching hard, but he just looked like kind of like he was out of his element.
Yes. No, yeah, you're right. That match was I guess the people were expecting a lot more from
Mm-hmm.
Wardlow's, especially since they built it up the way that they did that. He's been worthy of this for so many years and he finally gets his shot and then it's like that's that yeah, that's not it. That's not the Wardlow we all wanted to see.
No, I mean, especially because the last time I saw Wardlow before that was when he was losing the title to Luchasaurus and like the whole Christian Cage thing was taken off. So
With
it
the
was kind of like,
TNT title, yeah.
yeah. So it's like the last time I saw you, you were doing the job for Christian's lackey, and now you're, having a clunky match with Samoa Joe, and it's like, come on. They could have done so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. AEW dropped the ball with Wardlow. Ever since they did that TNT title run, it was just like that title was bouncing back and forth from Wardlow to Hobbs, and they were doing that, and it was just like, come on.
And
But
it's,
yeah, go
oh,
ahead,
go ahead.
Steve. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that you probably picked a good time to start watching AEW right after Revolution because it seemed like that's when AEW was going to do their new era. It felt like, they were going to go into their big business and there was a lot of hype around the company,
Mm-hmm.
because Mercedes Monet and Okada, Osprey, all these new people were going to come in and then they did the big business. They did the show after that. And then it just seems like after watching this Dynamite, they're just back to their usual numbers, their usual attendance. And I was kind of disappointed by that. I was expecting a lot more. How are you feeling about the new stars in AEW right now? Do you still find them interesting? What do you think?
I mean, I find everybody that they've signed interesting. Will Ospreay is one of my favorite, like, current active talents in wrestling. So
Mm,
that being a big get was huge. I'm happy he went with AEW because if he went to WWE, he would have spent like 3 months just learning how to wrestle the WWE style and kind of like figuring out how to make his stuff work within that. And you just end up with Ricochet again, where Ricochet was in Japan was doing all these amazing things, and then he had to water it down for WWE, and they just barely started letting him start doing his real athletic stuff again. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Mhm.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, the stuff that Osprey's been saying, the reasons that he chose AEW, same thing with Mercedes. It kind of seems like a no brainer for them. Like you get the lighter schedule. It sounds like Osprey still lives in the UK or wherever he's
Mhm.
from. So it's like, why wouldn't you sign with AEW? It's like one of those things, you know.
Oh yeah, especially if you're looking at like what the rumored sizes of these contracts are. You're getting more money, lighter schedule. You get to stay wherever you want to stay. You don't have to move to Florida. So it's just.
Definitely.
I mean, if I was a talent commanding that kind of contract and they offered me that kind of schedule, that kind of the kind of perks and benefits, and you kind of slot in as soon as you come in, you're at the top of the card. Like, come on, man,
Hmm.
no brainer, no brainer.
Yeah, like who cares if there's no one in that arena? Just give me my money.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, I might be wrestling to a 25% to capacity arena, but hey, at least I'm still getting paid 16 million over 3 years.
Seriously, man. Yeah, those I mean a lot of people giving me shit for talking about like the numbers and the ratings, but it goes either way. If AEW was selling out every week and doing great ratings, I would be talking about that too. But I'm just pointing out the facts, what's obvious out there is that their attendance just suck, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, and for me, like the ratings thing, like like the general fan usually isn't going to care about that. And do I care about it? I don't care about it as much as like a not a record executive, an executive at these networks are. But those people at work at these networks are concerned about those kind of things. And like uh, if you're not getting ratings, you can't sell advertisements. If you can't sell advertisements, the network's not going to want you. And AEW's got a TV deal coming up soon, so it's like, are these people going to be able to
Mhm.
continue getting paid? Because like Osprey, Kazuchika, Mercedes, they all are getting paid, but like these people that their contracts are coming up, like are they going to be able to sign them again if they're not going to be on TV and they're just going to be like shoved on HBO Max or something like that? You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with AEW because I, at least compared to like the WWE, they have like their what do they call them? Like their media calls, I think it's like a
Mhm.
monthly media call where they update, the people with what's happening with the company. You have a better idea of what's happening in WWE, but with AEW, they're so private and secretive about their business. Like you'll ask the people will ask Tony Khan a question and it's just like he'll give you the runaround or he won't really answer it. Right now, like the question is, are they doing trying to do a TV deal? Or are they doing a streaming deal? Or like what is even going on? I don't know, Steve. What do you think is going to happen with AEW with with all these deals going on?
I think maybe I'm not too well versed on like the business side of things. Like whenever it comes to like TV deals and stuff, I think probably what's going to happen is they're going to end up on like a HBO Max type of service. Um, either that or like with WWE going to Netflix, maybe Netflix works out a deal for like the rest of the catalog and all of that, and then you put and then AEW ends up on Peacock or something like that. Because Peacock, I know they get all the PLEs and they have all of the old WWE, WCW, and NWA library and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't get like live. They don't get the live show,
Right.
and so maybe something like that happens. I think it's especially with WWE doing the Netflix deal. I think the streaming service is like kind of like the future for not just AEW but all wrestling in general. They're going to start looking at streaming service type deals, which they
Mm-hmm.
already are kind of doing with like the indies and Fight TV and stuff.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's the future. It seems like they're
Mhm.
little by little, everyone's gonna be going into that streaming life. Um, Speaking of, AEW and also WWE, the final boss, that term, we've been hearing that term going around a lot lately.
Yep.
Um, we've been hearing that over on WWE with The Rock. And I'm not sure if you caught wind of this, but Serena Deeb started claiming the use of that phrase that she said she claims that she's been using it for a while now. I'm not sure if that's true, but also AEW started using the final boss for some merchandise for their world heavyweight champion Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that. I saw that T-shirt on Twitter.
yes, the final boss. Check out at Samoa Joe shirt that's available for purchase at shopaew.com. I mean, that can't be a coincidence, right?
No, I don't think so. I think they heard The Rock started calling himself the final boss, and they're like, "Hey, we have a Samoan guy too."
Oh, yeah. I mean, they should have trademarked it. I mean, I usually follow the stuff that WWE trademarks just to see what they're up to, and I didn't see anything about them trademarking it, so it's fair game.
Yeah, exactly. Fair game to use it. And I think they were using it for Brock. They were kind of looking at Brock Lesnar as like the final boss for a while too. And then now that he is
Oh,
persona non
really?
grata, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if they've ever actually on air like referred to him as that, but you'd see it on like social media and stuff. And
Okay.
now that Brock Lesnar is like
Yeah,
persona non
he who
grata, they
shall
kind of have that,
yeah,
that kind of like
he who
label to
shall not
stick
be
to somebody.
named.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I made a comment about that about Vince McMahon too, because I think CM Punk on Monday Night Raw, he's like trying to get Drew McIntyre to say Vince McMahon's name. Come on, say it. He who shall not be named. And I said that. I made a comment about that on my socials. And oh, you can still say Vince McMahon's name. You can still say it. And I was just like, come on, people. I'm just kidding around, man.
Oh, I mean, come on, he's blurred out in the
Why
video
so
games. Like
serious?
he's blurred out in the video games now
Vince
too. It's
McMahon
like,
is.
yeah. What's that?
Vince McMahon is
Yeah. So if you go
or
into
Brock
the
Lesnar.
WrestleMania showcase mode, anytime they show Vince McMahon, his face is blurred out.
Wow, that's so fucking crazy, man. The guy
It's
that
wild, but
created basically. Mm,
I mean, wrestling as we know it today, and
yeah,
he's
just
persona non grata.
yeah. That's I mean, even before they can even go take this thing to trial or anything, they're like they're done with him. They want nothing to do with him.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
what
And
what happened to innocent until proven guilty?
no, it's kind of wild. I think part of it was just they're trying to distance themselves from a federal investigation too, because now the feds are involved, and they're like, let's get that 10 city blocks away from us, please.
Trying to cover their own asses, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if what they what came out was true, that like Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon and all them knew about it. That whole story is a wild can of worms too.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's such a fucking mess, dude. It's so crazy. But it's entertaining as shit. I can't wait for the trial to come out. I'm gonna be watching that. I'll be
Vince McMahon's
following
the
that
greatest
like
heel of all time.
on screen and outside of in real life too.
Yeah, his problem was he lived the gimmick.
Yeah, he lived it a little bit too much. A little
Yeah.
bit too hardcore. Oh man, good stuff. Back to Friday Night SmackDown here real quick, Steve. Jade Cargill finally made her appearance on Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh my goodness, yes, she did.
The people were waiting for it. They were asking for this. They even went as far as like annoying Jade Cargill about this, and she was like, "Hey, if y'all don't shut up, I'm just never gonna wrestle. How about that?"
Mhm.
But Jade Cargill showed up, and man, she looked like money. She
Yes,
looked
she
like
did.
money. What were your thoughts about that?
Okay, so that entrance she got whenever she was coming out to do her whole intro promo, that was like, I mean, it was almost like when The Rock unveiled his new entrance. I think what was it,
Mm-hmm.
in Dallas, Texas, or something like that, where he unveiled his new entrance with all the lightning and stuff. That was wild.
Mm-hmm.
And then so that first segment, they did with her. Nick, the only thing it was like Nick Aldis talked more about introducing her than she took doing her actual promo. I think someone timed it that I was doing a live with on TikTok yesterday, and he was like, no, like Nick Aldis actually talked longer than she did, which was kind of like, oh, okay, that's it. But then they brought it back around because I saw what happened at the end of SmackDown. They brought it all back around to full circle, and I was like, oh, okay, she's definitely here.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
she was.
she came back out during the main event for the save, which was unexpected. Um, but yes, Jade Cargill's promo was very, very short, but I actually thought that was probably for the better. Because it kind of leaves you wanting more, kind of leaves you like wanting to hear more from her in the future. And
Mhm.
it's not like compared to like Mercedes Monet, her promo was a lot longer, and it seemed like it was just at one point it just dragged for me. I was just like, oh, okay, she's trying really hard to get that cheap baby face pop, and oh, I'm so happy to be here, and I love all you guys, and da 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 da. As opposed to Jade Cargill, she showed up and was like, hey, we have a good roster, but they're not me.
Right, right.
And um, so you thought you actually you wanted to see or hear more from Jade Cargill during this promo?
I mean, I don't know about too much more because, like, you're right as far as like, all she really had to do was come out there and say hello, in a few more words than that, and and I knew that the Mercedes Monet promo was starting to get stale whenever she basically repeated herself, everything she said for the first half of the promo a second time in a different way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but what I would have done is I wouldn't have had her talk more. I would have just had Nick Aldis talk less. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Because
Yeah.
whenever,
The introduction.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just kind of come out and say, "Hey guys, you've been wanting to see this. Here's Jade Cargill." In a better, more succinct way. I don't write promos. Don't make me your promo guy, WWE. But it's just one of those things where I felt like Nick Aldis talked longer than Jade Cargill did, and then when you time it, apparently Nick Aldis actually talked longer than Jade Cargill did, and it's not that Jade Cargill did a bad job; it's just Nick Aldis took too long.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I really like that the way that she was introduced on Friday Night SmackDown. Wasn't expecting to see her again in the show. Jade
Right.
Cargill ends up running out for the save during the main event when everyone expected Bailey to show up. And it just goes to show you kind of what we were talking about earlier. We can dissect all these things and we just never know what's going to happen. Everyone expected um, Bianca Belair to forgive Bailey, and Bianca was going to join Bailey and Naomi to take down the Damage Control, but it ended up
Right.
being Jade Cargill, and now it's Jade, Naomi, and Bianca Belair versus a Damage Control at WrestleMania. I believe it's a six-way or six-woman
Six
tag
woman.
team match. Yeah, who's going to win that one?
Oh, I think they're gonna give Jade the red carpet treatment and have her go over. Especially with Bianca and Naomi, they're gonna get their big WrestleMania moment, biggest baby face pop in like probably like women's wrestling history, just because how hyped everyone is for this Jade Cargill debut.
They got to. Yeah. I mean, it's a given for Jade Cargill. It's crazy that her only two matches since being in the WWE is going to be the first one was the Royal Rumble, and then the
Mhm.
second one is WrestleMania.
Exactly. That's what a way to introduce someone.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. I can't wait for WrestleMania. Jobber Steve, thank you so much for being with us today.
Hey, no problem, man.
It was a pleasure meeting you, and hopefully this is the first time that you come and visit us on Snug Wrestling here. Um, where can the people find you? Are you on any other platforms other than TikTok?
Well, on TikTok, I'm not Jobber Steve. I'm Jobber Steven. It's spelled with a PH, but you'll probably see my profile picture anyways. It's just me and my sons. Um, on on Twitter, you can find me under Jobber Steve. I don't really post much on Twitter though. I look to see what news stories are going out and how Dave Meltzer's putting his foot in his mouth on a daily basis. Um,
Oh, Uncle Dave, Uncle Dave.
Yep. And then I mirror my TikTok uploads. Like as far as my edited content goes, I mirror my TikTok uploads onto YouTube. Need to get caught back up with that though. But other than that, my main platform, you can find me under Jobber Steven on TikTok.
Right on. Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to Snug Wrestling with me and Jobber Steven, and we will talk soon.
All right. Take care, guys. Thank you, buddy.
Later, man.
Later. Thank you for having me on, man.